Wonderful question. So the question is, can we change our personality? Can we change? Like, the real question is this, the one that people have been asking themselves for centuries. It's, is there an essence in us? Is there something that makes us that doesn't change? Or are we just free to be able to choose every moment what we want? So it's the battle between free will and determinism, as they call it in philosophy. And no one's come to the conclusion yet. There's a two sides, it's like left and right in politics, you know. And both have a good point. For example, if you have an essence, right, if there's an essence that you can't change, in religion they call it the soul or the spirit. That doesn't matter what happens, that's always there for you, you know what I mean? And then that transfers to material and non-material. Your body is material, your soul, your essence isn't. And that's why it doesn't change, because matter, look at the wood, it'll turn into ash, it changes, right? Things that can't change can't be material. It has to be immaterial. Really the question is there something within us that can't be destroyed, that can't change, that is the essence, that whether it's good or bad, it's constant. Yeah. I don't know, but what I do know is that in everyday life, we have a free choice to make immediately. Just for example, I have the choice now just to walk out and go into my car and leave if I wish, you know what I mean? You guys have free will, even though you've been asked not to move too much, you are a free agent, you could still stand up and go. And if I was, you know, I don't know, the smartest guy in the world here, and they've paid me $3 million to give you this talk, if you've got diarrhea now, you've got to go to the toilet, you're going to get up and go. So there are things that forces us to change, but we also have the decision. We are all free to decide whatever we choose. That's without a doubt. Now, when we describe someone, we say, oh, that Carlos guy, yeah, that tall guy, the ponytail, and, you know, and he talks about psychology. That's a definition. That's almost like an essence of me to say. So anyone else would say, oh yeah, I think I know. So you're describing something about the person that other people can recognize. But is it really me? You know, I'm so many other things. You know, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather. I've played a bit of footy, I've done this, you know, okay, I've written a book, or I've traveled. What am I going to pigeon myself in? What am I really? I don't know, out of all those things and many more. In addition, you might say, oh, that Carlos, he's a really smart guy, you know, or he's a really nice guy, but someone else might go, actually, no, my experience of him was that he's a bit of a dick. They're seeing my essence totally different to yours. What happens is that I think that when we're born in this world, right, when we exist, I don't know what it is and where it comes from, but we're given a gift of existence, right? Some people might say it's God, some people might say it's the universe, some people might say it's Mother Nature. Doesn't matter what it is, regardless of that, existence is miraculous. You know, people say that's a miracle, you know. A miracle a definition of a miracle is something that goes against the laws of nature. So for example, if I go like this and that tree starts rising, you would say that's a miracle, you know. I've seen magicians and you go, how the hell did they do that? And you'd think it's magic, but it's not, it's a trick, right? It's a trick. So we call those tricks, but when we call it a miracle, what we're saying is that it's true, it really did happen. Now, someone that has a scientific mind can't believe that, because there's no connection between my hand and that tree doing that. There has to be a way, a scientific way to show that, you know what I mean? Then there is a miracle in life, is our existence. If you were to meet someone from another planet, how do you describe existence? I mean, it's very difficult, isn't it? The only way to say it is that it's miraculous. Like, I was here. One day I wasn't, and one day I'm on the earth. And I grew up, and I breathe, and I do things, and I think. It's almost miraculous when you think of it, how it's from nothing to someone now here standing and talking, you know. So if there is something close to a miracle, it's probably our existence. Our existence is really our life that we choose. So you have that miracle of existence, but then you have your life. So existence and life is very, very different. Your existence maybe has an attached personality, an attached thing that you can't change, but your life is free. So they're the two separate things. Your life is what you make of it. Your existence is something quite static. You're born a certain way, a certain height, got certain color skin, got certain color eyes, certain brain, certain legs. Some people can run faster, some people are taller, some people are funnier, and so forth. Those things can't be changed, but your life can. So when you ask me, can you change? You probably can't change you, but you can change your life. We all can change our life. I could decide tomorrow to close shop and just take a plane and go and live in the Amazons for a year. I could do that if I wish, That's changing my life, but it's still going to be me. It's still going to be that Carlos guy. He's not in his office, he's in the Amazons, So a lot of psychologists and counselors, they complicate things by saying you've got to change you. No, you don't have to change you. Change your life. Change what you do, where you're going to live, what you're going to drink, what you're going to eat, the people you're going to hang around with. Those decisions, they're totally in your control. There's no essence for that. That's free. But you carry your body into this life through your spirit, if you like, and that you have from birth to end pretty much the same. That's the best explanation I can give in that sense. Very, very complex, but what it is that it's a positive thing. Your life can be changed by your decisions. Remember that. Good question. Is that would be too complex or not?
Beautifully.
People have been trying to write about these things for centuries, and sometimes we complicate our lives, I think simplicity is good. Now you guys, just quickly, let's get into a little bit about your situation here, right? In general, you're young men, you're still young. I mean, I'm 54. I always find it funny when I say I'm 54 and someone that's 64 says, "Oh, you're young." and then someone that's 20 says, "Oh, you're old." See how everything's relative, isn't it? But the reason why you're young is because you still have life in front of you, right? If you've got life in front of you, you're young. Doesn't matter whether you're 86. If you've got life, what's past can't be changed. But the only thing we have is the future. It's like a canvas. It's blank, and you decide what you're going to do with it. So it doesn't matter whether you've got 50 years to live or 5 years. It's what you do right now that's very important. So in a way, we're all young because we have the potential. Some people don't have that potential. There's a lot of people that are ceasing to exist right now all around the world. We still have this potential. So you're young men, you caught yourself in this situation, this wonderful, beautiful place that you've got the opportunity to relate and to now decide what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Don't worry about your past. And I understand that our past also makes us. Oh, you're the guy that did that. You're the person that said this. And now with Google, it's harder to get away from it. So I understand. But you know what? Like I said at the start, it's how we recover from our mistakes that makes a person. That's what makes a person. That's what makes a person interesting and worthwhile following and listening to. Because if you've made a mistake, now you've got an opportunity to change, and you change. That is, to me, as a psychologist, incredible. You're like my hero, because I know how hard it is to change. I know how hard it is to let go of the weight of your history. Why? Because you feel that it's who you are, it's what you know. But because we have the freedom to choose every moment in your future, it's not who you are. Some people feel that you're being pushed by history. I think we're being pulled by future. And people that recover, that do stuff in their life, are successful in the true sense of the term, that they become who they should have been in the first place. But due to the environment, and I think you mentioned environment there too, due to the environment, they made decisions that were against their own potential. The problem is, because we live in a society, those mistakes are picked up on, and there's consequences for our mistakes. When we live in a society, we sign like a social contract, it's called. There was a guy called Thomas Hobbes, a British philosopher from the 1600s, and he was the first one to call it the social contract. No one signs anything, right? But you do when you're born, because what happens is that we are born into a society. And it's the society we're given. So we're given this society, this Western society, and it comes with a lot of benefits and a lot of weaknesses and things that go against it. That is without a doubt. Doesn't matter what society you're born into. The benefits of living in a civilized society, in a civilization, are a few. You know, you got running water, you got electricity, you got all these things that, you know, we pay for anyway, but you have also a certain amount of protection, which you wouldn't have in a state of nature. So for example, if I was living in the Amazon, if I decide to go to the Amazons, right, and there's a jaguar running after me, I can't call a cop. There's a jaguar harassing me. You know, I have to defend for myself. So in a civilized society, what happens is that virtues change. So suddenly the guy who's tough, who's strong, who's muscly, who's aggressive, isn't as significant in a civilized society. If I was in the Amazons and I meet a guy like that, I'm going to stay with him because he's going to protect me, right? Don't care how aggressive he is, because at least I won't be eaten by a jaguar. But in a civilized society, that guy is not as important anymore. On the contrary, that person, those traits can work against him, because what happens is that if that person becomes too aggressive towards somebody else in a situation, they don't have to hide up on a tree. That's the benefit of a civilized society. People that aren't physically strong, that don't have the condition to survive in a state of nature, can survive in a civilization because they have the protection. So once we sign the social contract when you're born, and you decide, when we decide to live in a society that gives us certain benefits, we also have to give part of us as well. And the people that end up in trouble, I've seen it also in other countries, are the people that don't adapt to that social contract. They reap the benefits of the social contract, of the protection, of the running water, of the electricity, of watching movies, of getting it on Facebook, going to a nightclub, going to a pub, getting a cold beer. All those things, they've been provided, and much more, by the society that we live in. They take that, but then they find it difficult to adapt on what they have to do in order to keep the peace in society. Yeah, I find that myself. There's a lot of ridiculous traffic rules in Australia. I don't know if you've noticed. You know, suddenly I'm on my way to Sydney, and I forgot, I didn't even see it was a 40 zone. There's a lot of revenue and so forth. But I'm also thinking, okay, I'm going to stick to the rules. If it's 40, it's 40. You know, if it's 80 in a straight line where it should be 110, so be it. I can't fight society, you know what I mean? But I also know if I've got to go down to 40, and my 12-year-old son is waiting for the bus, everyone else has to go down to 42. It helps me because my son's out there, you know what I mean? If everyone does it, it's better for the society, but you can't pick and choose what you do and what you accept. That's how we get into trouble. Yeah, that's how we get into trouble, my friends. Whether it's right or wrong, or it doesn't matter. if it's the rules of the society and we're capable of fitting in, which I tell you the truth, I find it hard to fit in too. I'm still adapting. Because I grew up in South America where no one cares about rules, it's really hard to follow ridiculous rules. But in the end, I convinced myself, you know what? Every other person should be doing it as well. And if I don't do it and I get fined, I'll pay the fine, and next time I'll remember. And that's how it starts, to start sinking in. But the first rule is just to accept the rules in the society if you're also taking the benefits of it.